expect Ned McWhirter will be a very good manager of state government. I expect he'll be slow to move with new policies and new programs. He obviously is going to bring his team up to the state capitol. That will be a Democratic team, a lot of new players at the state capitol. I think Ned McWhirter will be able to dominate state government, not to the extent that Frank Clement and Buford Ellington did back in the old days, but he'll come as close as any governor could. Almost a 100,000 vote lead. McWhirter was 627,660, 54%. To Winfield Dunn's 35,181, 46%, and that's with 97% of the precincts reporting. So a victory for Ned Ray McWhirter. One of the things that we want to mention in closing, this has been election night for Congress and special amendments and charter proposals and so forth, but Demetria, there was another election that you had the results on tonight. There certainly was, Teddy, in the red-hot disc jockey contest, election being run by the Tennessean. I do have a winner. Carl P. Mayfield of WKDF Radio, 13,225 votes to win the top spot for the large markets. Dr. Love was a close second, 8,931 votes, and he's from WMDB. And in the small market, it was Ernest Tucker from WEKR in Fayetteville with just over 8,000 votes. We should close it out with that, on that important note. But there's one item of importance also. In the Bushing-Haldeman race, Lee, I believe there's some contesting there. Yes, Jan Bushing feels like that she has won that election. We had it in our, what we thought were the official figures, with Haldeman 37 votes ahead, but there is some dispute about that. Okay, we'll have more word on that on Channel 4 Magazine tomorrow. We'll be talking with some of the winners and some of the losers then too. Lee, Demetria, thank you very much. From all of us here at Channel 4 News, thank you for joining us tonight for Decision 86 and for the Scene at 10. We now join NBC for an updated election return program already in progress. Good night.
Meet Helen Hollingsworth, the lucky winner of $5,100 in Channel 4's Winning Combination Contest. Now it's your turn to take home the prize. Play Winning Combination.
Nashville's Family of the Year, tomorrow on Channel 4 News.
I'm Oprah Winfrey, and I'm for the family.
This is a special edition NBC News Digest. Here is Ann Rubenstein, NBC News.
Good evening. One election recap for you. The Democrats have taken control of the Senate as a result of Tuesday's election, and we have other news of the day to report as well. The unfolding story of efforts to free the American hostages in Lebanon has a curious twist. The Speaker of Iran's parliament reports that former National Security Advisor Robert McFarlane was sent to Iran for talks. When McFarlane and 4 other Americans arrived in Tehran, apparently in September, they were arrested, held for 5 days, and expelled. Reports say McFarlane arrived on a plane with military equipment that Iran purchased from international weapons dealers. Reports say McFarlane was expelled because of American hostility regarding the Iranian Revolution. At first, the White House would not comment on the reports, but later said the U.S. still refuses to sell weapons to Iran. There has been speculation all along that Iran might be used in the hostage situation because of its influence with the extremist groups in Lebanon. Meanwhile, Terry Waite, the Anglican Church envoy, says 2 more hostages may be released soon. And former hostage David Jacobson had a joyous reunion with his family. George Lewis reports from Wiesbaden, West Germany.
The Jacobsons had been together for an hour and a half when they showed up on the hospital balcony. But the emotions were still running high. His daughter Diane had given him a happy surprise. She and her husband Jake are expecting a baby in less than 2 months.
I need money. I don't have a place to live, but I'm easy to keep. I'm well trained. I can live at 6x6 square.
Terry Waite, the Anglican church negotiator who accompanied Jacobson here, said the other 2 Americans held with him may be the next to come out.
Two people specifically in my sights, Terry Anderson and Tom Sutherland.
David Jacobson said he'd like to be here to see some of the others standing on the hospital balcony as he did today. But there's no telling when that may occur. George Lewis, NBC News, Wiesbaden, West Germany.
As President Reagan was flying back to Washington Tuesday after his campaign swing in the West, a warning light on Air Force One indicated a hot landing gear break. The pilot left the landing gear down in flight to cool it, and as the president's plane landed, there were no problems. As expected, captured American flyer Eugene Hasenfuss admitted guilt at his trial in Nicaragua, hoping for mercy from the court. Jamie Gangel has more on the story.
My name is Eugene Hasenfuss. Mi nombre es...
In a calm, deliberate voice, Hasenfuss took the stand, and as his wife and lawyers watched, he gave his account of how he was shot down over Nicaragua.
After opening my parachute, I watched the aircraft I was in spin on fire into the ground.
With the gun stacked behind him in the courtroom, Hasenfuss freely admitted he was running arms for the Contras. He did not defend his actions, but he said he did it because he had lost his job as a construction worker. Asked by the court whether he would like Nicaragua to return him to his wife and children, he quietly answered.
Yes, I would.
Jamie Gangel, NBC News, Managua.
South Africa's President P.W. Botha announced a shakeup in his cabinet Tuesday. Law and Order Minister Louis Lagrange, whose job was to keep a lid on protests, moves to another job now. And Information Minister Louis Nell is out. Several younger people were moved into deputy minister positions. It was a tragic election day for Bob Butterworth, Democratic candidate for Attorney General in Florida. His ex-wife and teenage son were shot to death the night before. Police say she shot the boy and then committed suicide. A nurse was killed and 3 people wounded in Richmond, Virginia Tuesday when a man walked into a prominent doctor's office and started shooting. The gunman then shot himself and died 4 hours later. He was not a patient of the doctor's, and the police don't know of any connection between him and any of the people in that office. The Census Bureau reported Tuesday that more than a fourth of American families with children are headed by single parents. Among black families, that figure is 60%. The DuPont company showed off a new plastic it said will be as big as nylon someday. The company calls the product Aerolon and says it will replace steel, glass, and other materials used in cars, in appliances, and in sports equipment. And finally, if you're looking for a good excuse to beat a speeding ticket, do not try hot coffee. A Minneapolis salesman told 3 judges that the pain of spilling hot coffee on himself caused him to hit the gas pedal. The judges all ruled against him and said he shouldn't have had that coffee in his car in the first place. I'm Ann Rubenstein in New York. Good night from all of us at NBC News.
Hi, I'm Grant Tinker.